Greetings, everyone, and welcome to yet another fascinating episode of How It Started, where we take a closer look at the lives of some of the most impactful figures of our time. Today, we have a story that is sure to leave you in awe as we explore the life of a visionary who changed the world as we know it. Henry Ford, a man who lived in a time of great change, took the automobile industry by storm with his innovative ideas and groundbreaking inventions. He saw the potential in mass production and brought a new level of affordability and accessibility to the masses. With his forward thinking and entrepreneurial spirit, Henry Ford was truly a man ahead of his time. So buckle up and get ready to take a journey through the life of one of the most influential figures in history. This is a story of perseverance, determination, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. It is a tale that will leave you inspired and motivated to chase your own dreams. The early life of Henry Ford. Henry Ford was born on July 30, 1863 in Dearborn, Michigan. He was the oldest of 6 children in his family, and his father owned a farm where the entire family lived and worked. As the oldest son, Henry was expected to take over the family's farming business, but he had a burning passion for mechanics that could not be quenched by the monotony of farming. He found himself constantly frustrated with the labor-intensive and rigorous nature of farming and had a deep-seated hatred for it. But there was one person who believed in him and noticed his passion for mechanics: his mother, Mary Ford. Despite his lack of interest in farming, Henry helped out on the farm as best as he could, but his heart was never truly in it. He found solace in his mother, and their relationship was unbreakable. She was the only one who truly understood him and his dreams of building something great. But that all changed one fateful day when he was just 13 years old. During a school trip to one of Detroit's companies, he came across a steam engine for the first time in his life, and it was love at first sight. That was the day when his passion for mechanics became an obsession, and he knew that he had to follow his dreams no matter what. The birth of the automobile industry. For the next few years, mechanics became his new hobby. By the time he was 15, he had constructed his first steam engine and was determined to make something of himself. But life had other plans, and his world came crashing down when he lost his mother to a sudden illness. Devastated by her loss, Henry's hatred for the farm intensified, and he knew that he had to leave and make something of himself to honor her memory. So at the age of 16, against the wishes of his father, Henry packed his things and left the village in search of a new direction in life. Henry went to Detroit in search of work as an engineer. He took a job at a streetcar manufacturing company, but was fired after only 6 days. He then found work as an apprentice at a machine shop, but to make ends meet, he also took a night job as a jeweler. Despite his busy schedule, he continued to study and experiment with machines in his free time. In 1882, he returned to his family's farm in Michigan, where he spent most of his time experimenting with the portable steam engine his father had purchased. His talent with the steam engine soon caught the attention of the Westinghouse Engine Company, who hired him to travel throughout southern Michigan, setting up and servicing their engines. In 1885, he met Clara Jane Bryant at a New Year's Eve party and got engaged the following year. As a wedding gift, his father gave him 40 acres of land, which Henry had other plans for then turning it into farmland. In 1891, he moved to Detroit with his wife Clara, where he took a job as a night engineer for the Edison Illuminating Company. He was fascinated by the gas engine, which he learned about through a British magazine, and was far more efficient than steam engines. He found someone in the city who owned one and was immediately drawn to it. His job at the Edison Company gave him enough free time to learn more about how the gas engine worked and how it was powered by electricity. In 1893, he and Clara welcomed their first child, Edsel, and the same year he succeeded in creating his first working gas engine, which he called the quadricycle. It was a crude contraption that consisted of 2 bicycles placed side by side and was powered by a gasoline engine. Although the quadricycle had a few issues, such as no cooling system and no gears for going in reverse, Henry continued to make adjustments to it. Eventually, he sold it for $200 and used the money to fund his next project, which was the development of his horseless carriage. In 1899, Henry Ford, with the support of the Detroit mayor, began building his second experimental car. This new car was larger, sturdier, and heavier than the previous one, and it was completed by July of that year. One morning, Henry took a wealthy lumber merchant by the name of William Murphy for a test drive in his new vehicle. By the time the test drive was finished, William wanted to be part of Henry's business venture, and soon after they shook hands together, the Detroit Automobile Company was born on August 5, 1899. Unfortunately, the company failed only a year later due to several reasons. Henry's ideas about improving the car he worked on were not in line with the stakeholders' ideas, who were pressuring him to make passenger cars. Another reason for the failure was that most of the parts that were required to make his cars were produced by different companies, and as a result of this, whenever a delivery was late, the whole factory had to sit back and wait for the delivery. This slowed production by a significant amount of time. His first car, which he called the delivery wagon, took 6 months to make, and only 20 of them were made during the company's first 2-year existence. As a result of all this, Henry was fired from his position. But even though his first company had failed, he remained optimistic. Henry was actually relieved when he was sacked because there was less pressure on him, and now he could focus on other things. He decided to turn his attention to racing cars. The reason was simple. Racing cars had become a very popular sport in the United States, and Henry wanted a platform to showcase his cars and their quality. Besides, despite knowing a lot of very popular people in the city, not many of them would be willing to invest in his ideas after what happened with the Detroit Automobile Company. A year later, Ford's newly designed racing car defeated the vehicle of Cleveland automaker Alexander Winton, as well as the nation's leading national racing driver, Grosse Pointe. Henry's 26-horsepower vehicle became the talk of the town, and that kind of popularity gave investors the confidence they needed to back Henry the second time. The rise of Ford Motors. Henry Ford's company, Ford Motors, was established in 1903, and it didn't take long for it to make a name for itself as one of the largest and most successful car companies in the world. With Henry at the helm, Ford Motors brought about several innovations that redefined the automobile industry. One of the biggest innovations introduced by Ford Motors was the use of interchangeable parts. This made it much easier for car owners to repair and maintain their vehicles without having to worry about finding a specific part for their specific model. This was a game changer for the industry and made owning a car a much more practical and accessible option for the masses. But that's not all. Henry and his team also revolutionized the way cars were manufactured. They introduced the first ever moving assembly line, which allowed for cars to be produced much more quickly and efficiently. The impact of this innovation was enormous, and it forever changed the way cars were manufactured. As a result of these innovations, Ford Motors continued to grow, and by the 1920s, they were producing over 1 million cars a year. This was a testament to Henry's vision, determination, and his ability to bring about real change in the industry. His impact on the automobile industry was felt for generations to come, and his story remains an inspiration to entrepreneurs and innovators to this day. Ford Motors played a crucial role in the war effort during World War II. The company shifted its focus from producing cars to manufacturing military vehicles and equipment. The company produced tanks, trucks, and other vehicles for the Allied forces and was a vital supplier to the military during the war. This showed the versatility and adaptability of Ford Motors and its ability to pivot and contribute to the war effort when it was needed most. And with that, our journey into the world of Henry Ford has come to an end. I hope you've enjoyed every moment of it and learned a lot about this amazing man and his impact on the world. It's truly inspiring to see what one person with determination and hard work can achieve. Henry Ford's story is a reminder to us all that anything is possible, and that we too can make a difference in the world if we set our minds to it. So, what are your thoughts on Henry Ford and his legacy? We love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share your insights and opinions with the rest of our community. Your feedback and engagement help us keep bringing you the best and most inspiring stories from the world of innovation and technology. And speaking of staying updated, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you liked what you saw today. We've got a lot more exciting videos in store for you, and you don't want to miss out. From the latest tech trends to the lives of the most innovative personalities, we've got it all covered. So that's a wrap for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you. See you again soon!